And tell us about the Guerrilla Foundation.
Well, I stumbled across this when I was looking into impact investing, and it's an interesting website, the Guerrilla Foundation, because they're talking about a new form of philanthropy. It's Generation X. A lot of the people who are involved in this website have never worked. They're immensely rich. A lot of their funders are, and I'll go into some of the. A lot of them are literally rich kind of. I think they've inherited a lot of money from their grandparents, their parents, and so on. And they're pushing away the whole idea of old philanthropy. So I just thought that the mission statement that they had, the language they use is hilarious. Well, it's woke, but it says the dinosaurs that cling to power: Whitosaurus, Plutosaurus, Machosaurus, and Stratosaurus. Time for meteoric extinction and cultivation of new forms of democratized giving. Let's not confuse plutocracy with philanthropy and philanthropy with real love of mankind. The world, life, and consciousness itself is unfathomably queer, steeped in paradox and uncertainty, and there are too many things to name: ideas, quests, journeys, and pursuits. Perhaps these words give you a taste of who we are and where our hearts beat. Let no amount of words substitute a real relationship. So let's meet. These are simply some of our emergent visions, ever unfolding and interacting with the dreams of the little earthlings who have not yet been taught what to dream. So I'm assuming we are the little earthlings that they are saving in their, in their philanthropic quest. So anyway, basically, I mean, I will just read you what the guy in charge of this is Antonis Schwartz. He's an activist, philanthropist, and impact investor of Greek-German descent and driven by the ideas laid out in the Guerrilla Foundation's mission. He has used his inherited wealth that originated from the selling of pharmaceutical company Schwartz Pharma to support a variety of social causes since 2011. In 2013, Antonis co-founded Vuliwatch, a Greek parliamentary monitoring organization that claims to increase political accountability. He also co-funded the Center for Sustainable Finance at the University of Zurich, and in his free time he enjoys skateboarding and playing Magic in the Gathering. I don't know what that is. For you can find out more about his work on the website Good Move Initiatives. Well, interestingly, I looked at it, and that he also is involved in something called resource generation. And again, it organizes young people 18 to 25 who, with access to wealth and class privilege in the US, to become transformative leaders working towards the equitable distribution of wealth, land, and power. And it's interesting because there's another one that's called Sign the Redistribution Pledge: Wealth Inequity Stops with Our Generation. So these are idealistic people who've never worked in their lives, and they have become quite woke in their thinking, and how they really seem to believe that this is really happening. The Guerrilla Foundation presents itself as a departure from traditional philanthropy. It claims to reject the charitable industrial complex with the paternalistic model of billionaire giving. Quoting Peter Buffett's sharp critique that as more lives and communities are destroyed by the system it creates, vast amounts of wealth for the few, the more heroic it sounds to give back. But this just keeps the existing structure of inequality in place. And I tend to agree with that. On the surface, the foundation's approach appears radical. Donors are told to give us money while giving up power, while decisions about grants are handed to the activist council, made up of grassroots actors. The foundation champions a vision of great transition, much like the Great Reset, a move away from traditional capitalism towards a so-called solidarity economy, ecological balance, and participatory governance. Yet beneath this language lies the uncomfortable paradox. The foundation is largely bankrolled by a new generation of Europe's wealthy elite, Generation X, and millennial heirs to fortunes amassed by their parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents. These individuals, who by their own admission have never worked in the traditional sense, yet now position themselves as the vanguard of reinvented communitarian capitalism. So this is, obviously this model is branded as impact investing or stakeholder capitalism, but it's sold as a moral alternative to the market economy. It accelerates digitalization and circular economy frameworks that consolidates data and resources in the hands of the very same 1% who dominate global finance. So is the Guerrilla Foundation aware of these contradictions? It calls for transparency about the origin of wealth and openly critiques philanthropy as conscience laundering. But here lies the central problem. It's all wrapped up in the language of guerrilla activism or sustainability, and it continues to insulate the wealthy from deeper accountability. It's just, wealth is not being dismantled, it's being rethemed. The system is not overturned, but it's being rebranded. It dreams of a world in which philanthropy itself becomes obsolete. So, it's really a kind of a camouflage of this elite system that we have anyway. Now, I just flagged up a few of the people who actually are helping the Guerrilla Foundation, and of course you've got Millionaires for Humanity, and I've got another slide. There's the Edge Funders Alliance, Impact Investing, all of these. There's Leap. Do look these up. I don't think we've got too much time to go into it in general. But then you've got the Millionaires for Humanity, who also are saying, we want a rebranding of this philanthropy. So I just want to tie this in with the goals again, and they talk a lot about climate action in this. So the real meaning, goal 13 is climate action. Take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. The real meaning is use the climate crisis narrative to justify extreme restrictions on energy, travel, diet, and personalized freedom, while diverting trillions to climate finance schemes benefiting corporations, impact investors, banks, and billionaires who created the problem. And that's the way it is.
Absolutely. Okay.
Well, I'm just going to say, Sandy, thank you very much for that. It's amazing research from yourself and Ben now focusing in on this idea of a revision of philanthropy in order that these immensely wealthy people make even more money. But a lot to talk about this.
Yeah, but we are absolutely out of time for now. So we're going to finish there. I'm going to say we'll be back in a few minutes if you're a UK Column member for UK Column News Extra. If you're not a UK Column member, please consider joining us. As I said earlier, we do need your support, and you can then join us for Extra as well. But enjoy Germ tonight, the interview tomorrow, and we'll be back at 1 p.m. on Friday with more news. See you then.
Bye-bye.